Well, good evening everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all to Keyboard Skills Pro here on YouTube, and hope the volume's sounding good. We're playing tonight a lovely virtual theatre organ, and obviously we would sometime in the future we will go out and probably do a live stream, hopefully somewhere on a real Wurlitzer or Compton, but of course whilst we're still in the UK, relatively speaking, still in lockdown. Obviously, we're doing it virtually for the moment. But a wonderful, eclectic selection of music that we've had through everybody. We've got requests from my patrons on patron.com. We've got requests from people from Facebook, email, the YouTube community tab. So thank you so much. We've actually got, would you believe, I think it's over 14 pieces of music, and even then there was more. So I had to say to a few folks, well, sadly, we won't be able to fit everything in tonight, but we'll certainly keep them in the for future shows. So one or two folks on the chat tonight, folks. We've got Fong Nguyen from, well, I don't actually know where Fong lives, actually. You have to tell me, Fong. You probably did tell, but hello there. Alan Robinson, very good evening once again from Sunny Lees. How about a tune called Blaze Away? Do you know, Alan, Blaze Away is one song I've never learnt to play. I will have to make it my mission in the next year to learn that march, but we have got some marches later, so I hope you'll enjoy the march selection. Doojab, that's Dear Norm. Norm started halfway through. What I heard was brilliant. Oh, well. Oh, well, Norman requested everybody the first. I'm just going to make a small adjustment to the volume, folks, just so we can enjoy what we're hearing tonight. Norm was the first in with the requests, and of course we started off there with Leroy Anderson's Bugler's Holiday, which is a very tricky piece to play on the organ because it goes dum 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 da, and then of course the trumpeters do a thing called tonguing, triple tonguing, da 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 da. And the problem is when you do that on the organ, your muscles tend to sort of seize up, so there's a bit of a technique there. But anyway, but that was for Norman, and he'll be able to listen to the rest of that earlier. Jacob Woods has put good evening, Mr. Horton. John Hanson, good evening, John. And Fyong's put, please play There's No Business Like Show Business. We'll probably able to fit that in. Charles from America, we've got a request from Charles later on to play Tiger Rag. Michael has put Cole Porter Noel Cow, that's a nice idea. Charles has put, how old were you when you started playing the organ? Do you know, I can't remember, Charles, I think I was about 9 or 10, that neck of the woods. Dawn's here says Norman. Yes, we've got Dawn's March a bit later. Oh, hello Josh, apparently my little boy Joshua, my son, is watching with mummy. Hello Josh, and that's, what we've got, Arturio, greetings from Mexico. Hello Arturio. David Rattray, good evening Maestro. Yes, hello David, very good evening to you. And Classic Clara, Wedding Hire, that's my family, who live not very far from me, and have a lovely range of wedding cars that they're not sadly doing weddings in this year, obviously due to the virus. Anyway folks, we're going to not talk too much, but I'm going to break the evening down into blocks, so we're going to play lots of evening Dave. Hello Dave Schuster, very good evening to you. We're going to break them into blocks. So we've got requests from my patrons on patron.com. These lovely people support all the video production here on the channel every month. If you'd like to join them, please do consider becoming a supporter of Keyboard Skills Pro simply by visiting patreon.com, and you'll go to there, search for Keyboard Skills Pro, or patreon.com/Keyboard Skills Pro, and you can get lots of bonus videos, tuition videos, performance videos. There's lesson PDFs, lots of things you can get when you sign up, so do take a look at that. So my patrons have got all their things in the list. So going next, we've got Jacob Woods, who said hello earlier. He's requested Around the World, lovely waltz, which is used at the Blackpool Tower Ballroom, obviously in Blackpool in the north of England, which is, I suppose, the mecca of organs, probably in Europe, by theatre organs, certainly by a mile, and they have a lovely 3-manual, I think it's a 14-rank Wurlitzer, which comes up and down from the stage and is played virtually every day for the dancing, and it's been there ever since Reginald Dixon designed. That, of course, was the second Wurlitzer. The original one was a much smaller 2-manual instrument. So we've got that. We're then following on from there, we've got a march, which is for Dawn, who is the good lady wife of Norman, who got Bugler's Holiday there at the beginning. So we're going to play a march, we're going to do Down the Mall, and then we're going to play another Blackpool-style number. We're going to play When I'm Cleaning Windows, and possibly a bit of Beside the Seaside, which is for Daniel Kubachi, requested Facebook, I believe Daniel lives in the US. I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But thank you ever so much to all of you who have chatted so far, folks. Please do keep the comments coming through. If you enjoy the music, folks, and would like to make a little contribution to the musicians playing tonight, please do visit paypal.me/thmusic. paypal.me/thmusic. If you would like to tip any of the organists playing for you this evening, we can always pass that on. But let's carry on now, folks, with Around the World and enjoy the music. I'll come back to you shortly. Thank you. Well, there we are, folks. Some nice lively numbers there, thanks to Jacob Woods around the world, and that was played in the Blackpool style, which is a very bouncy, unique style. I must admit, I'm probably going to shoot myself in the back here, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Blackpool style of playing. I enjoy it. It has its place in the world of dancing, and that kind of theatre organ style is very important. But I sort of prefer to go a little bit more in the middle ground, and I used to listen to organists growing up, like Sidney Torch, Quentin MacLean, Robert Wolfe, friend of mine, and one or two others as well. So, there are lots of different players, and I'd like to take a little bit of each, but we played there a little bit more in the Blackpool style, with, of course, Beside the Seaside, and When I'm Cleaning Windows, and also that march there down the mount. Now, we've got a few other folks who have been asking for some pieces. Stuart Hart, organ player, friend of mine who lives not too far away in the next sort of two towns over, as it were. He has asked for Tico Tico. That's a fun piece. Of course, made very famous by Klaus Wunderlich and originally Ethel Smith on Hammond, but we'll play a little bit of Tico Tico. Natsuki Sabalos. I followed Natsuki onto his Facebook page the other day and heard some of his playing, and I was very impressed with his talent. He's a young theatre organ gentleman in the United States, and he's playing some wonderful music, and if you get a chance to check out any of his recordings, I guess he's got some on YouTube, but do check him out. Natsuki Sabalos, he's asked for In the Mood. And then David Cresswell, who is a gentleman who we converse lots of fun emails, and he's asked for either Stars Fell on Alabama or Somebody's Rocking My Dreamboat. Now I'm going to do Somebody's Rocking My Dreamboat, David. Somebody's Rocking My Dreamboat is a lovely old ballad, and I played this the other day as one of my vintage sheet music recordings. I have a series of videos on my YouTube channel, which is Keyboard Skills Pro, of course. Please do hit subscribe, by the way, folks, if you're enjoying the content. He said to me, could you adapt that for the theatre organ? I said, well, yeah, it's easy to do. But he said, it'd be interesting to hear how that sounds from a piano copy. So we'll do that in a short while. So Tico Tico for Stuart, In the Mood for Natsuki in the US, and Somebody's Rocking My Dreamboat, piano score adapted live as we're going along for the theatre organ. David also asked, could I play Stars Fell on Alabama? I can't fit that in tonight, David, but that does come from one of my theatre organ albums, which you can get organ CDs. I've got 6 albums for sale, folks. So again, if you want to support me while we're in lockdown, head over to the website tomhorton.co.uk. There's a Wurlitzer theatre organ album on there called Strike Up the Band. Lots of great music, and also CDs on Lowry and Yamaha Electronic, respectively. And after that, we're going to finish off this block with a nice lively rendition. Charles, who's been messaging this evening, Charles from the USA, has asked for Tiger Rag. Again, not a piece I play very often. I think that's the problem with a lot of these pieces, that they are a bit done to death by organ players. But we'll certainly do a little bit of Tiger Rag for you, Charles. So Tico Tico, In the Mood, Somebody's Rocking My Dreamboat, which is a lovely ballad. We'll hear some soft tones in there, and Tiger Rag for Charles in America. Thanks so much, folks. See you. Talk to you in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we didn't lose anybody back there. Well, folks, that was what was that? Tiger Rag. Charles has just put yay. Oh, that's good. I hope you like that, Charles. Norman and Dawn, loving the show. Thank you. Fortunately, I have a night off, so I can enjoy it properly. Norman's a very proud Lowry owed everybody, and I've known Norman and Dawn for a couple of years now. Lovely people, come to a lot of concerts that I do. Dave, oh lovely Dave C, thanks Tom, fantastic to see how it's done, sounds great, thank you so much. Fong, nicely done, thank you. Stuart and Kim, evening Mr. Tom, hello Stuart and Kim. Oh, Keith's on, hello Keith and Susan from Chelmsford, and they've got a request in towards the end of the show as well. Oh, Alan's on, hello Alan from the United States, lovely gentleman, owner of a fine organ at home. And oh, Jake has put, oh, I love Fascination. Such a fine song to be. Yes, Fascination. That was Reg Dixon used to play Fascination da 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 with the band years ago in the Tower. Dennis has put hi Tom from Halifax, UK. Any chance of playing Fascination? Oh, do you know I've got Fascination somewhere in an old book. I can't play it tonight, folks, but we will certainly put that down in a future request show. Ian Ship, hello Ian. Sorry I'm late. Well, don't worry, Ian, we've got lots of music to come next. Well, folks, what are we doing this evening? If you've just joined us, well, we are doing a virtual theatre organ request show. Somebody asked a question earlier, who was it? Charles, I think it was. When did I first get into playing the organ? Well, I started when I was about 9 or 10, and my first organ tuition came from my grandmother. Lost Grandma and Grandad a few years ago now, not too many years ago, but they got to the grand old age of the early 90s, and in fact today would have been my grandfather's 98th birthday. So I'm going to play a little request for him, one of his favourite tunes that he always liked to hear me play. But Grandma and Grandad used to play the organ in the 70s, and as many people took up the organ in those days, started with Kenneth Baker, complete organ player. And they got an organ one day from Alan's Music, where I've been part of the team now for 20 years, would you believe, this year. No, 20 years next year actually, so it's 19 years this year. And I work a couple of days for Alan's doing demonstrating and marketing and lots of fun with Lowry organs and ringways and things. And if you've not seen any of the new ringways, they're brilliant organs, well worth watching the new demo video on YouTube. There's also the new Hobby Organist channel, which you can sign up to on Patreon, and of course my Patreon page, Keyboard Skills Pro. So my first theatre organ experience was when I was about 12 or 13, and I was taken by my parents and grandparents to a little village in the middle of nowhere called Cotton, and I had my first go on a little Wurlitzer, which is still in there, the ex Leicester Square Theatre Wurlitzer, 2 manuals and 10 ranks, and the lady who looked after the museum at the time, Phyllis, she let me have a little half-hour go on it. And I also met David Ivory, the resident organist, who I've known for several years now. And so didn't think that one day I would be one of the season organists there, and now of course we're over at the Grange, David and myself, and the new home for Cotton, the Grange Musical Collection near Diss in Suffolk, where we would be there this month on the first Sunday, as all the other months, playing the new Wurlitzer that's just been installed, the ex-Granada Slough organ that's not quite on wind yet, but very soon we'll be playing once we get lockdown restrictions a little bit lifted, allowing us to go and spend a few more days there working on it. We've also got a fine 4-manual 16-rank Compton, which is used to be in the South End Cinema, and for many years that was owned by two ladies and gentlemen, and it's known as the Whitton House Compton, Pam Palmer and her husband, that's right. So that's going in there, and there'll be lots of other organs in the future as well. So that's how I got into playing the theatre organ, so lots of fun things tonight. Donny Reithmeyer on Facebook. Donny, I think, plays the organ in the US. He's asked for Downtown or Cheers, the theme from Cheers. I haven't got the theme from Cheers, Donny, so it's going to be Downtown, my friend. We've then got Sam Johnson. Sam's a recent patron on Patreon, lives up in the north of England. Sam's requested Nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. John Apolko via YouTube in the US has asked for Sabre Dance, Kachurians. That'll be fun. And then after that, we're going to have a little number called When You've a Shine on Your Shoes. I don't know this one. I'm going to sight read it. It's not a particularly hard piece. This was sent to me by a gentleman who watches the shows, a gentleman called Alan Robinson, and he said this is a really favourite piece of his, and would I play it in a future show. So I don't know if Alan knows I'm playing this tonight, but I am playing this for you, Alan. He very kindly sent me a copy of this old piece of sheet music, and it comes from a 1936 musical which starred Fred Astaire. So if you play it, it sounds straight Fred Astaire. Charles has put, I'm having trouble with the left hand of the last page of the Maple Leaf Rag on the piano. Any advice? Yeah, just keep practicing it, Charles. That's the basic advice. Break the hands apart, keep working on them, and then slowly put them back together. And that's Suki's put, thanks for the request, Tom, good to see you play again. Jacob's put, is the Slough Granada organ Granada 1? No, it's Granada Mark II, Jacob, so it's large scale pipe work, gamba, post horn, I think, saxophone, big tibia, so it's going to be a real noise in there. It does have a piano. The piano that's on it is the one that was on the Witten House Compton, which is the piano that used to be at the Ritz Ipswich, so that will be wired onto it. Dave Schuster's put, how about playing Highland Cathedral? Dave, my dear friend, we will certainly do that in a future show. I've got a big list of songs to do here, folks, so forgive me if we don't fit everything in tonight, but do keep your requests back for a future show, and I'll try and include them. Highland Cathedral, lovely number. And Ian Ships, how about the Whistler and his dog? That's an old one. Anyway, but lovely requests there, folks, and I will make a note of all of those and play them in a future show. Anyway, so we've got Downtown for Donny. Sam's asked for Nightingale and Saying Goodbye, Claire. Sabre Dance by Kachurian for John in the US, and When You've a Shine on Your Shoes. Don't know that one. Arturio's put, how do you do it? Does your organ have a MIDI system? Is that the same organ you're playing through? Yeah, so what it is, Arturio, we're using a program called Hauptwerk. It's a virtual organ software program. This is a virtual sampled theatre organ, and my Yamaha electronic organ, I've got MIDI'd into it to just basically act as a controller. So that's how we're doing it, and the registrations are all set up and being changed on a simple PC keyboard. That's how we're doing it. Anyway, folks, enjoy the music. Here we go. Our next one is Downtown. Come back to you shortly towards the end. Take care. Well, that was a very sweet little piece there, folks. Thanks very much to Alan, who requested that. So what have we got? Who's saying though? Oh, Carrie Perkins. Evening, Toms. Where are you? This keyboard is magic. I'm very confused. Is it the old computer trickery? Carrie, lovely lady, lives down the road from me, and I teach her daughter Kaya. Evening, Kaya. And Tim is probably watching as well, no doubt. But yes, it is the old computer tricky, Carrie. I'll explain it to you one day. Wow, applause. Classic car wedding hire has put, you can add You Belong to Me and There Is Nothing to Your... Like, I think we need to do another request show, folks, in a few weeks. There's a lot of songs here. Can you play Ina Barger? Yes. I'm guessing that's Champagne for Two. So yes. Charles has put in the US, my mum signed me up for organ lessons with our church organist, and I hope to play like you. I'm only 14. Bye. Oh, well on, Charles. Excellent. Well, good luck. What else we got? Fong's put, can you play the entertainer Scott Joplin? Yes, we can do that in another show. Alan. Oh, Alan, that's who's just requested. Thanks, Tom. I think it's a really catchy tune from the past. It puts a smile on your face as well as your shoes. That is true indeed, Alan. Those lovely old songs. Dave Schuster's put, Tom, which virtual organ are you playing through? How? Dave, this is the Paramount 310 pack. Roy of Hertz, Charles, you will play like Tom, but it takes hours of practice. Good luck with the lessons. That is true, Roy. It does indeed take many hours of practice. But what I will say as a bit of advice to young Charles is don't try and play like me. By all means, listen, copy, imitate, but try and develop your own style. That's what I've always tried to do. Carrie's put, I'm with Fong with the entertainer. Okay, Carrie, so the entertainer's going down. Charles has put, thanks. No worries, Charles. So I think we've had some great music tonight, folks. We've got a couple more to finish off with, and then I'm going to play a little medley, which is my request to finish off. As you all know, or many of you probably know, but certainly here in the UK, we lost a very dear lady a few days ago, Dame Vera Lynn. The wonderful age of 103, Dame Vera Lynn. Vera was a, for those of you who don't know, I'm saying probably everybody on here who's watching knows who Vera Lynn is, but if you don't know who Vera Lynn was, she was a young girl from London with a wonderful singing voice who became very famous during the Second World War and was known as the Forces sweetheart. She used to sing on the radio, appear in odd films, do records, but also went with ENSA, the Forces Entertainment Corps, and went out to the front line to entertain the troops during the Second World War. Her big hit was a tune called We'll Meet Again, and of course that has been adopted as a very poignant song even in this difficult time. So I'm going to play a little medley at the end, which is my tribute to Vera Lynn, and I hope you'll enjoy some of those lovely tunes. We're going to finish off, folks, which is this last selection of tunes. My mother-in-law, got to play her request. She's asked for And I Love Her by the Beatles, so we're going to do that. We're then going to have Two Sleepy People, which I've chosen for my dear late grandfather. That was one of his favourite songs. And then finally, student of mine, Keith, and his wife Susan down in the sort of southeast of England, they've asked for the Dam Busters March, which is an old theatre organ favourite. So we'll have those three to finish off with. And then I will play my Vera Lynn selection, which is White Cliffs of Dover, Irving Berlin's It's a Lovely Day Today. My mother's chosen a piece, Be Like the Kettle and Sing. There's a clip of Vera singing this in a sort of a typical British morale film. It was basically charted this girl's rise to fame. She wanted to be a dancer but became the singer, and Vera plays the part of this girl. So it's basically the story of her success in a very British kind of film. But if you search on YouTube for Be Like the Kettle and Sing, you'll find an old black and white clip of this wonderful lady singing. That's Vera Lynn. Didn't have the music. We've copied it off that clip. And then, of course, We'll Meet Again. One or two more comments. Jacob Woods has put, Charles, if you want to learn to play like Reg Dixon, it is quite a style, certainly in American styles. Yes, it's the Blackpool style, Charles. It's what I would say to you is listen to Reg, and then listen to Sydney Torch and Quentin McLean, and then have listened to some more modern players like Robert Wolfe, Phil Kelsall, Richard Hill, Simon Gledhill. There's obviously me. And then in the States, you've got some wonderful players over there. Jelani Eddington's a very fine modern artist. Who else is there? There's the loads of them, but I'm sure you know a lot of them over there already. But some of the older UK players are really well worth doing it. Natsuki Sport. Hey Tom, make sure to tune into my virtual concert next weekend. I'll send you the link. Yes, please do, Natsuki. I can put that on my Facebook page for everyone. Keyboard Skills Pro on Facebook. And yes, I think Natsuki, if I remember reading, he's doing a concert. I think it's for the ATOS. Correct me if I'm wrong, Natsuki. Natsuki, if you want to paste the link into this chat, please do. Charles Spot, I like Richard Hills. He introduced Tiger Rag to me. Yet Richard had that wonderful recording on there, so that's well worth watching. Anyway, folks, keep playing the music, keep enjoying the music at home, and stay safe. Thanks ever so much for watching this evening, and we will see you next week for another live stream. I have no idea what we're doing next week, but we will do something fun and of course advertise it. So to finish off with, folks, we've got And I Love Her for my mother-in-law Gia in Chicago, and what else have we got? We've got Two Sleepy People for my grandfather. We've got the Dam Busters March for Keith and Susan, and then Dame Vera Lynn's tribute melody at the end. So thank you so much, folks, and enjoy this last selection of music. Take care of yourselves, and I wish you all the very best, and good night.
Thank you.